ਭਰਾਤਾ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰਾ ਰਾਖਾ ਸਭਨੀ ਥਾਈ।
I think that the starting point of Sikh belief is the idea that there's one God, and God is very much a presence in the world. And that becomes central because Sikhs don't believe in seclusion. That means cutting themselves off from the world. The Sikh gurus were very clear that you found God in the midst of a family life. And so marriage and community is central to their lives. On entering Gurdwara, the first thing that will strike you is that you have a lot of community facilities as well as a place of worship. The actual worship room, the Divan Hall, is probably going to be the largest room in the Gurdwara, but it's not the only room by any means. You'll find a room for shoes, you'll find a langar room or a langar hall, which is probably of the same size as the Divan Hall, as the prayer hall. And in larger Gurdwaras, you'll find rooms for the arranging of marriages and a variety of classrooms where they'll learn anything from English to Punjabi, their own language, to Sikh studies, or even some sort of martial arts. There are often charitable things that occur quite regularly, such as food drops to local refugee centres, and of course homeless people are always welcome in the langar as well. The Divan means the court, and in that the guru or the teacher is the ruler of the Sikh's life. So the first thing you do on entering the Divan is bow your head to receive the teachings from your spiritual master. Okay, what you've got here is the goluk, which is a box where people put any offerings that they're going to give to the Gurdwara. People sometimes put milk bottles and other kind of food substances which are later going to be used in the langar, which we'll see shortly. What you've got here is a cloth which sits over the Guru Granth Sahib. Now the Guru Granth Sahib is covered with loads of cloths because it's given the utmost respect in the place of worship. And here you can see some of the lettering. The pages are usually extremely beautiful and they're decorated in the best possible way. The Guru Granth Sahib is always placed on a throne, and this Balki Sahib, which is the name for the throne, is always custom sort of made. Underneath it is a canopy, which is important because it also symbolises the status of the Guru Granth Sahib as the ruler of the lives of the Sikhs. So this is the Chanani and this is the Ramala. In a ceremonial function, you always have a fly whisk or Chor Sahib, which periodically the person sitting behind it will wave. On either side, it could be the left, in this case it's the right hand side, you have a small dais where the musicians will sit and it helps them to project their voices, because Sikh worship is basically oral. It's to do with music, it's to do with singing hymns. All of this is just to give the impact of a royal court. Just to say, this is the ruler of my life. This is where I get the guidance from in my life. After praying, you would receive prasad. And it's a sweet tasting sort of pudding. It's semolina that everyone eats as a refreshment and for some people as a sacrament. The first item we have here is the cloth for a turban. Now, I'm wearing a blue turban as well, but there's no particular significance about the colours. A lot of Sikhs will wear orange, particularly on Vaisakhi on the 14th of April, which is the date when the Khalsa was created in 1699. But Sikhs can wear any colour they want, and indeed many wear turbans that are polka dot or paisley patterns. Indeed, the paisley pattern comes from the Sikh Empire. The second item is the kachera. This is worn as an undergarment. It was a big innovation in its time because it shows sexual equality, as it's worn by both men and women. It allows flexibility, and it's also chastity. In those days, people would wear just a loincloth which left parts of their body exposed. The third item is the kirpan. Gurdwara means mercy, and literally it's a sword of mercy. It's never to be drawn in aggression, which is why most Sikhs, Amritdhari Sikhs, will not just open it to show anyone what it is. Sikhs are legally allowed to wear these in Britain, but only Amritdhari Sikhs. And those are people who would be waking up about 5 or 6 in the morning in order to pray. This is a kanga, which is worn in the hair to keep it tidy, because as a social sort of religion, Sikhs are supposed to be tidy. The last item is the gurduārā. This will be worn even by Sikhs that don't wear any of the others. The majority of Sikhs don't wear turbans, but nearly all Sikhs will wear a gurduārā, and it's usually worn on the right wrist. Kirbans come in different shapes and sizes. This one is quite small. My own one is a little bit larger. It was made by the company that makes Swiss Army knives, and it was there to celebrate the 400th year of the compilation of the Guru Granth Sahib. The langar is every bit as important as the divan. It's inconceivable to have a Gurdwara without langar. In fact, more people use the langar than use the divan. And this is because people who are not Sikhs, homeless people and refugees, may come in to eat food in the langar, although they're not required to pray at all. A famous story from Sikh history explains clearly the importance of the langar. The Mughal Emperor, Akbar the Great, was at that time perhaps the most powerful king in the whole world. And he wanted to come to see Guru Amar Das. However, the Guru told him that he could only come to see him after he had eaten food from the langar. If you think that in the langar you would be sitting on the floor and you might have all sorts of people there, you'll be imagining that this most powerful king in the world is sitting there with a group of workers, labourers, farmers, priests, housewives, children, and all sorts of people. The langar is there to emphasise that we're all one humanity by eating together, and that the needs of the body are no less important than the needs of the mind. The Guru Granth Sahib is a massive hymn book, organised according to ragas, which are Indian styles of music. Music can affect your mood, and it can put you in the mood to think in a certain way. So the music is as important as the actual words. The important thing from a Sikh point of view is that God is inside of you, as a reflection is inside a mirror, fire is inside of wood. And so there is no point looking for God outside. There's no concept of God living high above.
tumri gat